Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Psychosin Podcast. And joining me today, because unfortunately Attic Ghost won't be able to join us today as his current work hours have kind of changed at the last moment. We've got a returning guest, the one and only Metal Mike. Welcome back to the podcast, man.
Oh, hey, brother, how's it going, man? Thanks for having me.
I'm good, man, I'm good. If for people who are hearing another voice in the background, we've got someone else who keeps trying to connect, but they are having serious Skype problems. It's not letting them connect properly, and we can't hear them properly, and they can't hear me properly. So I do apologise for that in advance. Anyway, Mike, how you been doing, man?
I've been really busy, honestly, dude. You know, I mean, a lot of going on. I switched jobs a while back. Of course, you know, I lost my mom to cancer.
Yeah.
May 7th. You know, just busy being working and still doing the radio thing, man. And I became a permanent podcasting partner with one of our fellow DJs, DJ Mac. He's got the Mind Over Metal show for that metal station. He's got that Mind Over Metal podcast, and I guessed it a while back, and he asked me if I wanted to be a permanent host, and I said, yeah, sure, why not, man? And I'm going to try to make it more of a point to be on this podcast as well. You know, I'm just going to be a regular podcasting whore. And,
well, why not, man?
Right. But, you know, all joking around aside, man, I enjoy doing the podcast. Hell, I had a blast doing the last one I did with you, man.
Well, thank you. Glad you did, man. I mean, it is unfortunate we haven't got Benedict with us, otherwise known as Attic Ghost, but basically, he was all set for it.
How the hell is Benedict anyway, man?
He's doing well, man. He went to Wave Gothic Treffen in Germany a couple of weeks ago. He really enjoyed that. We spoke about that on last week and the weeks before's podcast. Then he followed his favourite band around America for a bit, for about 5 dates.
Yeah, what's his favourite band again?
The Birthday Massacre.
Birthday Massacre, right?
Yeah, he followed them around for their new album tour. And I think he's still sort of getting used to not being an American following them around, to be honest with you. So, yeah, he's sort of been getting used to that.
Oh, I'm glad he had a good time, man. That's cool. I was kind of like, man, it's a damn shame I didn't live closer where he was at. I would have loved to have had him in person. That would have been cool. Yeah,
I mean, I've only met him once in person, and I didn't know him at the time properly. It was just like, funny enough, at the last Birthday Massacre gig in England that I went to, I was out the back just after the show, helping mate get back into her car because she's disabled, and suddenly I just had some big bearded guy in a German accent go at me, Psychosin, and point at me and scared the crap out of me because I thought I was about to get the crap beaten out of me. And yeah, that's how I met him, man. That's how I met him. So
that's cool, man.
Oh, hang on, Natalie, I think we can hear you.
Hello?
Hello? Oh, there we go. Yes, the phone's working. Mike, this is Natalie and Joe from Essex as well. Join us for the podcast, man. Natalie and Joe, this is Metal Mike.
From America, hey. What's going on, guys? How's it going? Nice to meet you.
And you.
Oh, I'm glad that's working. Now, let's hope that the recording works properly as well.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah. Christ, you've sort of been outweighed again on the Americanness here, Mike.
Well, I'm alright, man.
Anyway, yeah.
We're all metalheads, man. We're all, you know, brothers and sisters. Nationality and shit like that don't really matter to me. I don't give a fuck about all that. Oh, pardon my French.
It's fine. Exactly. But yeah, Benedict's doing fine. He was, as I said, he was gutted he couldn't join us tonight. But what happened was he was on, he does a job where he can be put on call on duty, so he can get a call at any point. And they changed the rules of it literally this morning and told him that he might be after work tonight, so he can't do the podcast because he might be in the middle of saying something, then get a call. So
yeah, it's a shame. Like on call then.
Yeah, basically, shame. But for those who listen to the podcast regularly or haven't listened to it before, go check out Attic Ghost's channel. He's my usual partner on doing this podcast. And it feels a bit weird not doing one with him after about 6 weeks of doing one with him. But we shall soldier on. We have got Metal Mike here, I should explain to everyone, is a co-owner of that metal station that many of you know I do a show on weekly. Even though my show's been changed on days, what day I'm doing, I'm now firmly on every Sunday morning. And also, as I said, we've got Natalie and Joe here, who are, I don't know their kind of metal tastes. So Natalie, Joe, what are your metal tastes?
We like power metal, symphonic metal, new metal. Joe likes
pretty much everything that's not porno grind.
Right on.
I should just.
My nephew DJ Kane, man, he does a pretty much an all power metal show for the station. The Crusader of Metal with DJ Kane. He loves his power metal, boy. Absolutely loves it, man. Which, hey, man, I like all kinds of subgenres of metal, well, all kinds of music, really, but.
Mike is our main.
Very cool.
Mike is our main thrash guy, I think. Really, is the best way to put it, ain't you, man?
Thrash metal is definitely one of my all-time favorites. But I love traditional metal too. I love sludge metal. I mean, like Crowbar. Crowbar's one of my all-time favorite bands.
Crowbar's a wonderful band.
So great, amazing.
I should also explain.
Pretty much the beginning.
I should also explain before we go any further. She may sound sweet and innocent, but Natalie is anything but. So keep that in mind as you listen to her.
You will get more and more foul as the night goes on.
I have literally the filthiest mouth you've ever heard. Just a fair warning.
It's got to be a fun podcast.
Pretty bad though, but so hey, is this an R-rated podcast?
It might well end up being that way. I think looking at a few videos and that on YouTube, it seems like YouTube are kind of easing off on things a bit because too much of a backlash on it. So you can swear, but try not to overdo it.
They ought to be glad we're willing to post anything on their stupid fucking shit. So,
I know it's not like I'm making any money from it either. I'm hoping to get some patrons,
Give me a fucking break.
But anyway,
seriously.
Yes, this is the Psychosin Podcast where we'll be discussing mainly metal music and everything, some gaming, some films, and any other random crap that comes to my head.
Just general fucking life all around.
Indeed. For those who don't know, me and Mike are two of the premier baldy metalheads on that metal station, along with Dr. Evil.
You're damn right, man. Us Chrome Domes gotta fucking stick together, Ronnie.
Well, I'm
probably the hairiest guy you've ever had on the show.
Yes, as you can see in the pic, Mike, Joe is indeed a very bearded man with a beard that might very well rival our very own Benedict's. So,
right on, dude.
As for Natalie, she's got a lovely beard as well, but we won't go into that.
Are you talking about my beautiful wavy beard right now?
I was wondering where you were going to go with that.
I'm going to be honest.
Like, you can't diss my beard. It's got Viking plaits and beads and everything.
I feel I need to see this. I feel I need to see
I do as well. What are you hiding this from me?
Anyway, yes, let's get into this a bit more. So, Mike, let me say that in English. You've got a couple of albums that have been coming your way and everything through record labels, etc. Bought a few albums over the last month or so since we last had you on the podcast. What's been your favourite album in the last month or so, man?
Well, that's a good question. Well, I've really been there's this band, believe it or not, from my neck of the woods.
Yeah.
I live in the Southern Illinois area, basically the Metro East area. I'm literally on the other side of the Mississippi from St. Louis, the Illinois side. And there's a band there called Bastard, which they're kind of like a mixture of thrash and black metal and hardcore. And I really, really dig them, man. I've been listening to that album a lot lately. I went to a show there with our social media liaison, as I like to call her, Sarah G.S.
Yeah, she's not been around for a bit. Is she alright? I've not seen her say anything.
Yeah, she's doing alright, brother. She's at the Chicago Open Air right now with my best friend, Big B. Brian, we call him Big B because he's just a big boy, man. And yeah, she's at the Chicago Open Air, and I just saw Iron Maiden with her the other night with Ghost, and that was a pretty cool show.
It's a tough life being a DJ. It really is.
It is. And then last week I saw Benedict's favorite thrash metal band, Megadeth.
Yes, he loves them. He loves them as much as I love Metallica.
I love that guy because he's like, honestly, I just, do not care if it was at Megadeth, and I'm like, okay, well that's cool, dude.
That was a weird. That impression was a weird mix of Benedict and Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Well, I gotta dramatize it a little bit, Ronnie.
Oh, Natalie, that is beautiful.
But what's funny about that? Like, I've never been a very judgmental. I mean, hey, you can like what you want and dislike what you want to dislike. I mean, and I'm not even with Megadeth, man. It's like people have to understand they kind of want me back over with Dystopia. I mean, I haven't been a big fan of anything they've done probably since. Well, I mean, I thought Countdown was a decent album, but Rust in Peace. And I think Dystopia is the best thing they've done since then. But I get it. The one thing I've always heard people complain to me about Megadeth, I can't stand his voice. I've heard a lot of people, because, but I don't know, man. I've always dug Megadeth, man. Of course, I like Metallica, too. Old school, I'm stressed.
See, there's the thing I've got to bring up. Every Metallica fan, well, nearly everyone, because I know someone in the comments will probably pipe up after I post this and go, I like new Metallica, but possibly with that voice. But every time I speak to Metallica fans who've been into them since the beginning or whatever, they're always old school Metallica, up to usually Load, and then they go, no, I'll stop listening then. Or
you know what I stopped listening?
Black Album.
They pissed me off the Black Album, dude. Yeah, and I will say this, like Hardwired, I think there's some good songs. Yeah, as a whole album, number one, I wish it wasn't a double album. If they took all of the first disc and then spit out the bone and added it, they would have had a pretty solid record. I mean, but even so, I was still pleasantly surprised because, to be honest with you, Metallica's got a new album. I'm usually like these days, ho-hum. And I still can't help but think that Megadeth didn't light a fire under their butt with Dystopia. That's just my personal opinion.
Well, to be honest with you, over the last 10 years, Megadeth have really surpassed Metallica in, like, I'm not just saying that because obviously I'm not a Metallica fan, but they've actually brought the thrash back into their sound, whereas Metallica kind of went all over the place, even started to sound like almost a metal Oasis at one point, which was disgusting.
The thing about Dave and Megadeth is, if you look at, because to me, like, Countdown was like the last album I liked. Yeah. I loved Rust in Peace, but after that, though, like, I wasn't real big on Euthanasia. To be quite honest with you, I tuned out on Megadeth for a long time because I didn't care for Risk. I didn't care for, but you are right. I would say within the last decade, I've noticed each album's gotten thrashier and thrashier, except for Super Collider. To me, when he did that record, he was once again trying to do what he did with Euthanasia and Risk, and I guess when that album didn't do what he was hoping it would, he said, well, I'm just going to straight up do Megadeth music, and I'm not going to try to write for the radio anymore. And I'm like, well, that's good, Dave, because I hate that shit. I mean, in my opinion, and it's just my opinion, but I honestly believe if Mustaine had just stayed the course and Megadeth had kept doing what they were doing, they would be revered as much as Slayer. Now, I know some people are going to be like, wait a minute, Metal Mike, you're trying to say that Slayer's bigger than Megadeth? Well, kind of, yeah. And I'll tell you, and here's my proof. When they did the Big Four, what was the lineup? Who played in order? It was Anthrax, then Megadeth, then Slayer, then Metallica. I honestly believe that if Megadeth had stayed true to the course and kept doing what they were doing, and I'm not saying a band can't experiment or try other things. That's the one thing that frustrates me about when I run into some of these Metallica things and get so butthurt because I say I don't like the Black Album. And I'm like, well, what'd you want him to do? 100,000 miles an hour every song. Oh yeah, because they did that before. I mean, there are several Metallica songs where they do not play 1,000,000,000 miles an hour on those Cliff Burton records. I can name off several right off the top of my head. For Whom the Bell Tolls, Fade to Black, The Thing That Should Not Be. I mean, just Welcome Home Sanitarium. None of those songs are like totally thrashy. So when people say stupid shit like that, I just want to, well, quite honestly, I just want to slap the shit out of them. It's like, really, dude, if that's all you can use for your argument, a band doesn't have to keep doing the same song or same album over and over.
Well, no, because if they do, they get picked up on it. So
I don't mind a band experimenting, but there's good experimentation, and then there's what the fuck was that?
Well, yeah,
And for me, Metallica, like, it just kind of cracked me up when they got such a backlash for St. Anger, because I was like, well, shit, man, I've been pissed at them since the Black Album. And I didn't like Load and Reload either. I mean, but again, that's just me. I mean, I'm not saying my opinion isn't any more valid than anybody else. I mean, Jesus Christ, look how many copies they sold of that record, So obviously I'm in the minority. Not that I give a fuck. I don't care. But my point is, what, buddy?
I was never a big fan of the Black Album. I thought it was actually one of the most overrated albums that they ever done.
Oh, thank you. And it's funny because I'll talk to some fans and they'll get really upset and go, but that was my first metal album, or that was my introduction to Metallica.
Yeah, hey, I think that's what it is. I think that's what it is. It's the nostalgia, the rose-tinted glasses of that album, which could be why.
Well, Psychosin, I think that I honestly feel that you've got a valid point. I mean, to me, this isn't just Metallica. This is any band. It's very important on when a fan comes in to that band.
Don't get me wrong. I mean, I had a bit of backlash when I started saying that the newest Fear Factory album was the best one they've done. And I had a lot of people saying to me, oh, it's not better than Demanufactured. Yes, it is. Demanufactured, do not get me wrong. Awesome album. But Genexus kind of is a bit more of a more complete album to me. But it's just where you come in. We've got to get people who in the future will come in and say, oh, Super Collider by Megadeth's the best album they've done. I will strongly disagree with them, because I think that album's a big old pile of wank. But
it is. It's terrible. But man, I gotta say, man, whatever criticism he took for that album, man, he must have took to heart, because I thought Dystopia was a really solid record.
Well, the other thing might have been
he's done in years.
The other thing might have been where they had the drums from Lamb of God coming on it. He might have said, "Look, mate, guys, come on." So anyway, Natalie,
because he's a fan. He was a fan of Megadeth. He was a fan of those old school Megadeth records. You know what I mean? As far as Fear Factory is concerned, they've never really disappointed me. I've never listened to a Fear Factory album and went, oh, well, that was a sellout, or that's some bullshit. I gotta be honest, like, I thought Genexus was a good record. I mean, nothing will ever top Demanufacture as far as I'm concerned, but hey, that's me,
So I was taking a swig of drink. I thought you were going to say something else there. Anyway, Natalie, what is the best album you've listened to over the last month that you are addicted to right now?
Oh God.
It doesn't have to have been released.
I'm a hardcore Korn fan, so recently I've been obsessed with their recent album, The Serenity of Suffering.
Yeah. Do you know what? I bought that, and I'm a Korn fan, but I listened to it once, and I keep forgetting to listen to it again. And I really should, because it sounded really good on the first listen.
I've literally had it on repeat ever since it came out.
She really has.
I had a feeling Joe's next to you kind of grimacing a little bit. So people know, Natalie and Joe here, otherwise known as the Bearded Adonis, are a couple. So, yeah, they're exchanging loving glances at each other, and if Joe answers wrong, he's sleeping on the couch tonight.
But yeah, like the new Korn album, and also Joe introduced me to a band called Elven King, and I love their album, The Pagan Manifesto.
Are they sort of folk flavoured power metal?
Yes.
Yeah, do you know, I've got that just from the name. What does that tell you?
Yeah, no, I really like my folky metal as well. It's really nice.
It is, and sometimes it don't work. Don't get me wrong. I've heard a few bands that it's just gone, oh, that's clunky. But there's been a few bands like Corpaclani. If you need a band to drink to, Corpaclani and Trollfest. You're done. That's all you need.
Amazing drinking bands.
Hey, say that again.
2 amazing drinking bands.
Indeed.
Corpaclani's last album, they done Noisa.
I thought,
wonderful.
I don't know if I've heard Noita yet.
What is that band called again?
Corpaclani, man.
No, the one that that you said you were listening to.
Oh, Natalie.
Elven King.
Elven King. I'm gonna have to look them up, man. I'm gonna have to check them out.
Definitely do it. And definitely check out the Pagan Manifesto album. It is by far amazing.
Right on. You know, it's kind of funny, like you were just saying about folk metal. I mean, that's one thing I love about heavy metal is the fact that, and this is the truth, whether you like the bands or not or whatever, it seems like you could. What I love about metal is its adaptability.
Yeah,
What I mean by that,
We can
is
mix
you
it with
make
anything.
just about any kind of music with metal, and it works at least on some level. You know what I mean? Like rap metal or like folk metal or whatever. It's like I've noticed people will take other types of forms of music and put it with metal, and some of them are very successful with it.
Yeah, I mean,
there's not very many other kinds of music you can do that with.
No, you're right. I mean, it's like, for example, going back to Natalie's love of Korn, when Korn mixed it with dubstep, I would have said metal with dubstep would never work in a million years. But Korn,
I was like exactly the same until I actually heard the songs, and I was like, Korn have once again pulled off a brilliant one.
See, I yes and no. For me, the only songs that overly worked on the first album that had dubstep on it were the ones that they'd done with, and I've forgotten his name, Skrillex. Those, because the guy had been in a metal band before, knew how it worked. The other songs were a little bit, but they kind of tried it again on the album after, whose name has gone completely out of my head, and it was getting there. Sorry?
Was it Paradigm Shift?
That's the one, yeah. Paradigm Shift.
I think it was. Yeah.
And that was getting better, and then, because Head come back, I believe Head turned around and went, I'm not doing any more dubstep crap. So they went back to being a heavy band. But there we go. And yeah, Mike's right. I've not heard a metal band try to sort of bring in another genre into their sound, and it just totally not work. Because you've even got bands who've mixed country in there. To an extent, say Pantera did at one point with that slightly southern flavoured riffs on Great Southern Trendkill. If I've got the right album there. So yeah, Mike, totally right on that one, man.
You know, it's kind of funny you mentioned that record, DJ Psychosin, because like, to me, like when I was talking to you earlier about experimental albums, now see, that's a record that was, in my opinion, experimental for Pantera, but it worked.
Oh yeah, it's my favourite. It's my favourite Pantera album. I'll be honest.
Right. Yeah, a lot of people love that album. What's funny though, man, is that album, believe it or not, when it came out, was pretty divisive among Pantera. There were some people that didn't dig it at all. I think that album's more appreciated now than it was when it came out.
Yeah, I think people were still wanting a vulgar display of Power 2 at the time, which it was like in a bottle. You're not going to get a number 2 of that. You'll get something similar, but not another one of them. So, yeah.
Right. You know, and it's kind of funny, like you were saying, like besides the local band, some of the other albums I've been listening to lately is the latest Overkill. I've been really enjoying that a lot. The latest Creator. I thought that was a really
wonderful album. I've been playing that since the day it came out.
I was going to say it came out last year, didn't it?
Yeah, Gods of Violence.
Yeah, excellent album. I've got to listen to it again, actually. I really did love that album.
The latest Overkill, The Grinding Wheel, I've enjoyed that. Man, it's been a really good year for thrash metal again. I mean, the latest Death Angel came out this year. And
balls. Yeah, I've got to grab that.
New wave thrash metal bands too, man, that are out there. So
yeah, this is going to lead on to something I'm going to ask you a bit later, actually, to do with the new wave of thrash metal, man. Now we had Natalie's favourite album last month. Is there anything else, Natalie, you've been listening to, or has it literally just been Korn hardcore 24/7?
No, like obviously, like I said, Korn, Elven King. Joe recently showed me some Avantasia.
Is that a euphemism that he showed you his penis?
No. It might play a salmon in it, but no.
Was it the new album with Ghost Lights or whatever it's called on it?
Yeah.
Where the first song sounds like Meatloaf.
He also showed me this band called Elevetti, which sometimes sing in Gaelic.
It's pronounced Elvati. I know that because I've interviewed them.
My bad.
I've been wondering for so long how to pronounce it. I look at the patch on my jacket and I think, what is this?
I got told because when I'd done the interview, which was years ago now, it was actually for the Origins album tour, and I pronounced it Eluvietti in front of the singer, the vocalist, the bloke. Even that's the word I'm looking for. And he went, "It's pronounced Elvati." I went, "Oh, sorry," and started the interview again.
Well,
so yeah,
now don't we?
yeah, but very good live band. But yeah, awesome band, Elvati. But yeah, what albums did you get a listening to, man?
I've shown you Origins.
Yeah, you've shown me Origins.
And then their latest single, I can't remember what it's bloody called now.
I've not listened to it because they've changed the female vocalist and that, haven't they? Because she left.
Yeah, it's got like all new people now.
They've got cause they lost like half the band, so they had to replace 4 members.
Yeah, it was a shame.
We've also been listening to the latest Dragon Force album.
I've still not heard it. Are they still full on high speed power metal?
Yeah, pretty much, just like non-stop.
It is excellent.
There's like probably 2 songs that aren't at Herman Lee speed.
Yeah.
Right. So apart from them, we'll move on to Joe now. Joe, what have you been checking out over the last month, man?
Oh God, right.
Prepare for the list.
That's all right. That's all good, man. It's all good.
Been listening to a lot the new Iced Earth album, Incorruptible.
I forgot they've released a new album. That's a good point.
My nephew DJ Kane, man, he's been listening to this shit, but he's like a huge Iced Earth fan.
Oh, yourself, I think you mentioned that before.
That's like his all-time favorite band, besides like maybe Black Sabbath or one of the mainstays. He loves Iced Earth.
Yeah,
good record, good fucking record, man.
Yeah, they're I think for me, it's at the moment it's a new personal favourite of theirs. They the tones that they touched are spot on. Like, it's the perfect amount of power in that style of power metal that I expect. I don't know how else to describe it. It's kind of like thrashy at the same time.
So basically,
to me, Iced Earth are almost power thrash. You know what I mean? Like, they really are. I mean, they're not just your typical. And I don't mean any put down because I actually like a lot of power metal, but they're not.
They're not you. They're not you.
This is the song like Seven-Headed Whore. It's almost a pure thrash song.
Oh, I know, dude. Oh, I know. It's a face melter for sure.
Seven-Headed Whore. I think I dated her. Anyway. Sorry.
Well, I've been listening to the
Hailstorm album.
Their new Hailstorm album as well, obviously.
Which is No Grave But the Sea. Yes.
Yep, No Grave But the Sea, but also No Grave But the Sea for Dogs.
Yeah.
You got the collector's edition.
Yeah, I didn't. What is it? Just like really high pitched that you can't understand the vocals?
It's barking.
It's
I don't know. Yeah, it's literally they replaced all the lyrics with dogs barking in tune with the song.
As a man who has played
Anchor.
As a man who has played a grindcore band called K9us, I can understand that. Thing is, that worked for some reason. That K9us. That was weird. Anyway.
Yeah, I thought it was quite a good album. Not one of their best, just like Sunset on the Golden Sea. I think their first 3 albums were still the best.
I loved No Grave But the Sea, to be honest with you, myself. But you know, you've probably listened to Hailstorm for longer than me. I only got into them a couple of years ago properly. So
yeah, I've been listening to them since their second album. So
oh well, there we go then.
God, what else have I been listening to?
You did get loads of new CDs actually. Where are they?
Somewhere. Okay. I've been listening to some more black metal. I try and get back into black metal. I've been listening to the new album by Fen, Winter.
Never heard them. So
they're sort of blackened doom metal kind of thing.
That sounds right up my alley.
It's really good. There's about 5 songs on it, but they're all like 20 minutes long each.
Yeah, sounds about right. 20 minutes long each and about 3 different riffs.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. But it's super atmospheric, super emotional. If you read the lyrics along to it, it's like one of the most like soul-crushing albums I've ever heard.
Fair enough.
I absolutely loved it.
So they're would it be fair to say they're more suicidal black metal than just black metal?
Yeah, more suicidal black metal. On like on sort of on like the level of Winter for Left, if you know Manchester fan.
Yeah, Christ.
They're almost that depressing.
Jesus, that's impressive.
Well, what's been listened to? Got Powerwolf's album Blessed and Possessed at long last.
Yeah, you've taken a while with that one, man.
Yeah. And there's a few that I've picked up that are bloody old. I've got Sonata's Arctica Reckoning Night as well.
Yeah, awesome album.
Really, really good album. Absolutely loved it. What else have I got? I've got it right in front of me.
You got Within Temptation, Silent Force.
Again, another really old one.
But good. That was actually my first Within Temptation album back in the day when it came out. So, show me age now.
Bloody hell.
I know, I saw him on the tour after that as well. That's the worst part. So, yes.
And also got Nevermore, This Godless Endeavour.
Oh, their last album. Their last album, I believe.
Yeah, the last album. I found it. I found it. I've been looking for it for fucking God knows how long now.
Yeah.
I finally found it, listened to it, I really, really enjoyed it.
See, this is where you now want to come round and punch me. I went in HMV about a month after it was released, and I found the special collector's edition box set thing for about £5 in a sale.
That is amazing.
I know. I'm just like, I'll be grabbing that, please. Same as
a tenner on the standard edition, on the, like just the standard jewel case.
I know it's ridiculous, isn't it? Same as what was it? The Nostradamus album by Judas Priest, the big book edition.
Oh God, yeah.
I got that in a Play.com sale back in the day for £2. Brand new and sealed. I know, and I was like, yes, I'll be having some of that. So I was well impressed. Anyway, yes, stuff and things. So there we go. That is the albums you guys have been listening to this week. For me, it's been the new Birthday Massacres album, because if I don't say that, Benedict will literally crawl out of the computer and punch me, even if he's on call. What else have I been listening to this week? I've been listening to a bit of Wasp, because I've never actually listened to them properly, so I've bought a best of. Who else? I've literally just been trying to get through the backlog of CDs I've got to listen to. So it's been very, very mixed this week. But yeah, the favourite album of the last month for me, it's got to be that Birthday Massacre album. Not the heaviest thing in the world, but there's just something about it. They've just got everything spot on. And obviously I'm going to get back to my Fear Factory, but still waiting for a new album, because apparently it's on its way. And talking of new stuff...
Are they?
See?
They're not doing a tour, are they? Saying this, it is coming, eventually.
No, this ain't Tool. We'll get on to Tool later, because there's been some news on that one, man. Disappointing news, but news on it. Fear Factory have said they are recording a new album, but that was back in, about January, so new album won't be coming out till next year, I'd imagine. But talking of new stuff, have you guys listened to the new Arch Enemy track that was dropped today?
No, I haven't.
It's in my to watch list.
Yes, watch it, honestly. It has made me look very much forward to their new album, Will to Power, which I believe is out in September, the end of September. Awesome. They've now obviously got the guitars from Nevermore in them. So, they've done a really good job with that. And Alyssa is sounded in fine voice. So, check it out, guys. It's called The World Is Yours. Definitely awesome track. Hopefully,
I'll watch later on YouTube.
Yeah, definitely. If you like your arch enemy, they haven't disappointed. And don't worry, they haven't. Even though she is a very good clean singer, Alyssa has not gotten down that road. It's still the heavy ground vocals throughout. So I believe they're keeping that pure, and then she's got to do that on her solo album, which is coming out at some point. Again, no one knows when, because I got told about it about 4 months ago, and it's still not come out. So we shall see what happens there. Now, Mike, our thrash guy here. You brought up about the new thrash bands coming up. How do you feel about the re-emergence of thrash and the newer thrash bands that have come up over the last 15 years?
Oh, fuck. I love it, man. I mean, there's a lot of really, really good, in my opinion, what I call the new wave of thrash metal bands. Some of my particular favorites are, I like Havoc a lot, and I like Suicidal Angels. They're pretty cool. Ultra Violence are pretty badass. Another one that I like a lot is this band. It's they got some elements of death metal to them, but it's a female power trio from Sao Paulo, Brazil called Nervosa.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
badass.
Yeah, Nervosa are awesome, man. Absolutely awesome.
Yeah, I really dig them a lot.
Bullet Belt are well worth checking out as well, man. Same sort of thing as Nervosa.
There's a lot of really good, Gamma Bomb. Municipal Waste just came out with a new record. Again, maybe part of it's because, like I said, those were my teenage years. Those were my formative years, getting into the original thrash metal movement. So to see it, kind of have a resurgence and stuff, I like it. It makes me feel good. It makes me realize, that, I got a ration of shit for liking those bands back in the day. Even from fellow metalheads, or so-called metalheads. These fucking weirdos be wearing these Warrant and Poison shirts giving me shit for liking, Nuclear Assault. And I'm like, okay, man, well, and I don't know why, but I always had the feeling like, well, talk to me in 10, 20, 30 years, and let's just be honest. Now, I like the early generation, the first generation, the first wave of glam metal bands, or, I hate to use the word hair, because to me, hair metal came later. It took what glam was doing and even made it more ridiculous. But, I like the first generation bands, you know what I mean? Like some of those bands, for instance, Motley Crue. I loved the first two Motley Crue records. But man, when they put out Theater of Pain, I tuned out. You know what I mean?
So as soon as they started going super commercial with their sound, basically.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, once they started going after the female audience, in my opinion, which I thought was a move that wasn't really necessary, because I knew a lot of girls that already loved Motley Crue. But, whatever, that's just my opinion, but it was, thank God for thrash metal, is all I'm saying, because some of those bands got, like I said, I like the first generation, your Quiet Riot, the first couple of Motley Crue. Rat, I think Rat was still to this day feel they're very underrated when it comes to the early glam metal. I mean, they're a much better band than Motley Crue. Much better band, much stronger discography. But everybody, Motley Crue. I think Motley Crue are one of the most overrated fucking bands of all time. They had 2 really good albums and a lot of fucking filler after that, in my opinion. I don't get it. I don't get why people put them on this pedestal, And of course, I think Van Halen gave birth to that whole scene anyway. Now, I'm not saying Van Halen are a glam metal band, but they were the first band from the Sunset Strip heavy band to make it. And to me, I think Gary King described glam metal in the best terms possible. He said, to him, glam metal was like, especially when when you got to your warrants and your fucking wingers and dangerous toys and all that silly shit.
The only way I knew about Winger was because of Beavis and Butthead taking the piss out of them all the time. So
I hated them, dude. I hated them from day one. I hated, because by that point in time I was already immersed in the thrash metal scene. I mean, I got disillusioned with what was going on with glam. I'm like, well, fuck, these guys are more about their image and not as much about the music. See, personally, I don't care what they look like. I don't care if they're pretty boys. I don't care if they're dirtbags. I don't care if they have dildos strapped to their fucking forehead. As long as they rock, that's all I care about. I don't care about how a band, but what turned me off about some of those bands is when it became more important about how they looked and their ridiculous poses and just, like I said, I think Gary King said it best. He goes, a lot of those bands, it was like Van Halen blown up to 1,000,000,000 degrees, but in all the wrong fucking directions, man. And I couldn't agree more.
A dildo strapped to their forehead. I think that might be the new stage costume of Linkin Park. Anyway.
There you go. I mean, like, for instance, man, I don't, but I guess what I'm trying to make out is I don't think you're ever going to see, like, a glam metal resurgence. That'll never happen, I don't.
Only in comedy, because obviously we've got Steel Panther doing good rounds, but they're totally...
but Steel Panther's a parody of that.
Exactly.
They're making fun of that.
Exactly.
That's all we need, the parody of the badness that it was.
And apparently a glow.
Yeah. I mean, when it comes to the old school hair and glam metal, whatever you want to call it, do you listen to any of you two, Natalie and Joe?
Not really. I don't know if Twisted Sister counts. They're more hard rock band.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Twisted Sister, though, their image was more to really, really annoy the really big tough guys who were a bit funny about it also.
Yeah.
Hey, I gotta go on record. I absolutely loved fucking Twisted Sister. Those first 3 records, I still think are classic metal albums. Sonically, I'm with you guys. I think they were more of a traditional metal band.
Yeah.
I mean, and another thing, even with their makeup, it was so over the top. You had these guys that were like 6 foot tall, looked like fucking football players, but they're wearing this like clown makeup almost. But I absolutely love Twisted Sister. Now, with that being said, they did kind of lose me when they did that Leader of the Pack bullshit. I'm not gonna lie. Okay. I was just like, what is this? And unfortunately for them, it was like they never recovered from that. It's funny how some bands can take slight detours and do even some weird records, but they can
bounce back.
Bounce back from it. Poor Twisted Sister, man, they were done after that. They were done, man. It was over. Hey, Psychosin, can you give me a minute, man? I gotta go take care of something, man. I'm gonna step away for a second.
Yeah, no worries, man.
Cool.
Right, I was gonna say, So, Natalie and Joe, and I believe you two are off to see Korn next month.
Yeah, we've actually got quite a number of gigs lined up for the rest of this year and the beginning of next, so we're really excited.
Run through them. What ones are you looking forward to the most? Apart from Korn, because I can tell already.
Well, we've got Korn in August, then we've got...
Dragon Force in October, with, I think, Power Quest are supporting them.
Oh, what?
So I'm looking forward to that. So I think Power Quest are dropping an album like the day before it happens.
And then in November we're going to see Delane, and they're going to be with Marco from Nightwish.
Oh, that'll be interesting.
Yeah, and then we've got
Glory Hammer in January.
I'll have to get onto that Delane one, because again, Delane is someone I've interviewed the singer a couple of times, once in person, and I've seen them live a couple of times. You're going to enjoy that. They are really goddamn good live. Really good.
I remember the first time I saw Delane, they were with Battle Beast, and they were supporting Sabaton the first time I saw them at the O2 Forum.
Oh, yeah,
About 2 years ago, something like that. Yeah. They were really, really good. And so was Battle Beast. Like, that woman's vocals is just amazing.
But I don't seem to be able to capture it on album, because I've got a Battle Beast album and I weren't that impressed, I have to be honest. I think it was their last album, actually.
Literally.
Yeah, definitely.
I did quite enjoy their new album, Bringer of Pain.
Yeah, I've not heard that. It was the album before that I heard. It was a bit like...
Okay, the new album was actually pretty good. I really enjoyed it.
Fair enough. There we go. A bit of a recommendation there. So what is the best gig you two have been to so far?
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, God, this is really
You saw
difficult.
Jesus?
Yeah.
I've seen quite a number of bands, so it's actually really difficult, because I've actually got a list of how many bands I've seen.
Don't worry, we all have. So, and trust me, it's quite a difficult thing for me to answer, but I've got a vague idea.
I mean, I might just have to read out the list, because I loved them all. Really.
If you want to read them out and say what was so good about the gig, etc., go for it, and then, Joe, if you want to run through yours, I'll try and run through mine if I can remember half the gigs I've been to, because I was a bit of a gig whore back in the day when I had money, and now I'm even more of a gig whore now that I'm interviewing half these bands, but there we go.
Joe, did you want to go first?
Yeah,
how many bands you've seen?
Mine's probably shorter, because I've only really been starting to go to gigs this year.
Yes, we should explain, Joe and Natalie here are nice wee young people.
I'm 21.
I'm nearly 22. Cough.
Right.
Christ, I feel old.
Sabaton. Yeah, first gig was Sabaton at Brixton with Twilight Force and Accept as the support acts.
Yeah.
What Twilight Force I was excited to see, 'cause I loved their last album, Heroes of Mighty Magic. Again, another power metal album.
And an album that's named after a bit of a retro game.
Yeah.
Mike, we're just going through Joe's list of his favourite gigs he's ever been to. Then we'll go through Natalie's, and then we'll go through yours, man.
My favorite gigs. Ooh, God.
Yeah, you have a think about that while we continue with Joe's list here. So, Joe, do continue. Sorry about the interruption there, man.
That's cool, man. So yeah, the first one was this year was Sabaton with Twilight Force and Accept. Seeing Accept live was amazing. That was a wonderful experience.
Accept as in balls to the wall.
Live. What's that?
Is that Accept as in balls to the wall? Is that Accept?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've got the right band. I wasn't sure if I had the right band for a second then.
Yeah.
And people let me DJ.
But they were really good live, and of course Sabaton has always put on an amazing show.
Yeah.
Always put on an amazing performance.
Once again, man, my nephew DJ Kane, huge Sabaton fan. He's seen them a couple of times. I never have, but he says they put on an amazing show.
Oh, they really do every time.
Phenomenal.
Yeah. Who did I see after that? I think it was Insomnium after that. It was one of my all-time favourite bands.
Yeah.
I didn't have the best experience per se, due to health reasons, but I got to see Baron Earth and Wolfheart as well, and they were phenomenal live, absolutely phenomenal. Insomnium, I love their albums, but live they're not that great.
Right.
I will say it sounds a bit sloppy when it's live.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's what I thought anyway, especially when they done, what was their last album? Winter's Gate, the 40-minute long song.
Yeah.
It sounded a bit sloppy live, like what the support acts, Wolfheart and Baron Earth, in my opinion, both trumped them.
Oh dear.
Yeah, it was a bit messy. Who did I see after that? I saw Avenged Sevenfold mainly to see Disturbed and In Flames. I don't care what anyone says. In my opinion, In Flames are still a great band.
I haven't minded the last two In Flames albums. I will admit they are. He's getting less whiny with his vocals, which is always what put me off In Flames. So.
Yeah, but the set list as well was more of a mix of their much earlier stuff with a couple of songs from Battles in there.
Oh, what? So it was mainly sort of cloud connected, Trigger, etc. Are we talking about?
Yeah.
And please tell me they played Pinball Map.
Of course they did.
Good. That's all we need.
Yeah.
Just play Pinball Map.
It was actually a really good set list for them. Then Disturbed came on. They've been one of my favourites. Well, that's like a childhood thing for me.
Yeah.
to show off how young I am still. And Avenged Sevenfold, I'm not the biggest fan of their music, but I will say they do put on a good show.
Yeah.
Yeah, so for me it was like average for Avenged Sevenfold. Like, they could put on a good show, but the songs are not that great.
So yeah, I've got a love stroke disappointed sort of thing with Avenged Sevenfold. A lot of their songs, they'd be really good if they didn't go on for too long, but they keep continuing them.
I find that as well, especially on their new album. The Stage.
Yeah, The Stage was, a lot of people loved it, and I thought it was average at best myself. Admittedly, that is only after one listen before anyone jumps on me, but really, if an album doesn't grab you straight away, usually, especially when it's a rock and roll band like Avenged Sevenfold are these days, then it doesn't matter how much you gotta listen to it, it's never gonna get you properly, like proper get its claws in you. I've found that might just be me. I don't know, but
I thought the album. I personally thought the album had quite a lot of filler, especially in the solos.
Yeah, they're all getting a bit lazy on that front.
Yeah, they really are. It's like they run out of lyrics, and then the album's like 20 minutes long.
Of solos.
Yeah, pretty much.
Can't say anything though, because I listen to Megadeth, and they've been guilty of that themselves. So.
Yeah, true. I'm quite a big Megadeth fan. What was the last band we saw? Exodus, wasn't it?
Yeah, we saw Exodus and Dust Bolt together at Chinnery's not long ago.
Great live band.
Yeah.
Exodus are amazing.
I saw Exodus at Chinnery's last year, funny enough, when they were last here.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I've seen them. I can't remember who was supporting them now. It weren't Dust Bolt. Obviously they weren't that good. Whoever supported them. or they weren't that memorable. But yeah, I remember Exodus coming on. It was a weird set actually, because a lot of it wasn't what I was expecting. At one point, it didn't even seem like we were going to get Into the Pit played, which would have been weird. No, Into the Pit's Testament. What's I talking about? What's the Toxic Waltz even? It didn't seem like we were going to get that played at one point. I was like, hang on.
Yeah.
And then it was the very last song. I was like, thank Christ for that. Otherwise, I think Chinnery's would have been torn to pieces. So, yeah.
I can't imagine them not playing that song live. I mean, it's one of their signature tracks, you know.
Yeah, but I've seen, you say that, man, I've seen bands who have done it before, but they've not played their signature songs. I think Arch Enemy I've been to before, and they didn't play We Will Rise. And that was really weird. Yeah, I know. It was it was the tour for the album, just after the album with We Will Rise on it, which I've forgotten the name of, because my memory's crap. But, yeah, they didn't play We Will Rise. And like everyone was like, that was a good gig, but We Will Rise? And yeah, not even the encore. Not even the encore. But we did get Ravenous, so I was happy. But yeah, as you were saying, sorry Joe.
That's right. I think for me that is it. As I said, I've only been able to start going to gigs this year.
Yeah. Is that due to money issues or?
Yeah. Let's just go with money issues.
That's fair enough.
Let's just do that for now.
It wasn't the beard weighing you down.
No, the beard weighing me down. That was shorter then, believe it or not.
Oh dear. Right, Natalie. This list, this scroll of gigs.
Yeah. Okay. I think I went to my first major gig. I think it was about 2-3 years ago, something like that, and it was Delane and Battle Beast supporting Sabaton.
Right, your first metal gig. Let's get the embarrassing stuff out of the way. What was your first gig?
My first, I think my first ever gig was down like Chinnery's, you know, like Minerva Falls or Rough Divide or Spoiler UK. But my first major band, like major gig, was Delane, Battle Beast and Sabaton, which I thought was really great.
I thought you were going to come out with something like Britney Spears.
God.
But yeah, so yeah, I saw them. They were really, really great. And then the year after that, I went to see Sabaton again, but they were being supported by Ailstorm and I think it was Bloodbound.
Yeah.
And Joe forever jealous that I got to see Ailstorm. So
and Bloodbound.
Oh, it was brilliant though, because Ailstorm had like this huge rubber duck on the stage, and the guy was like, "I bet you were expecting a big old fucking ship, weren't you?" And we were like, "Yeah," and it was like, "Well, fuck you, we got a duck instead."
Yeah, that's like Ailstorm, really.
When I saw Avenged Sevenfold, they had this like giant cube with projections on it.
Yeah.
But I think most people were bored of the band because when the cube started moving, everyone was chanting "Giant Cube, Giant Cube." So I think most people got bored of watching Avenged Sevenfold.
Oh dear. That's not a good sign. That's not a good sign.
No, we were paying for a cube and not the band.
Oh, dear.
And then I saw Crossfaith down Chinnery's.
Yeah, I was there
last year.
Yep, I was there.
And then
I awesome gig.
I saw Dread and Hacktivist on Halloween last year, I think it was, down to Chinnery's. It was really good.
It was, because I was I interviewed Benji at that gig. So I got on their tour bus to do that interview. They have a plush tour bus. They have a plush tour bus. Although I will say this, everyone who listens to this, support Skindred, even if you don't like their music, because Benji is one of the nicest guys in metal I have ever met in my entire life. He really is an absolute diamond of a guy. So support his band, he's absolutely awesome. Anyway, sorry, go on.
That's right. But yeah, no, I have to admit, even though Chinnery's is a very small gig area, like bands like Crossfaith and Skindred and Hacktivist really got the crowd going and jumping, and that room got way too hot. Like I was too hot.
Yeah, Skindred I remember being incredibly sweaty because Benji was not happy unless everyone was bouncing. If I remember rightly.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And then I think it was last year. I think it was the Electric Ballroom. I went to see Beyond the Black, Powerwolf, and Epica, which was absolutely outstanding.
Oh, you've got one up on me. I've never seen Epica. I really want to.
They performed their latest album, and it was absolutely fantastic. And Powerwolf really put on a show. They had great props. One of the guys kept like getting the audience involved and jumping and really going for it. And I can safely say my neck was hurting the next day.
That's a sign of a good gig when you're younger. Thing is, with Epica, they are the only band that I have heard do a very, very good cover of Fear Factory. And for me to say that is ridiculous. They covered Replica years ago, and they kept it Epica. They kept it sounding like Epica, but at the same time, it was spot on, absolutely brilliant. I was like, Jesus Christ, someone's actually done this justice. So yeah, they'll probably never play it live, but you know.
Yeah. And then at the end of last year, I got to see Madball, Limp Bizkit, and Korn for the very first time at the O2.
That was a weird lineup because Madball should not fit in with the other two.
I thought Madball was a great like warm up, like you could like when you were in the O2, you could see not many people appeared for Madball. But as soon as Limp Bizkit was due on, the crowd slightly got bigger, and then as soon as Korn was due on, it was packed out, and they did their classic Freak on a Leash, and everyone was singing along. Like it was great. Yeah,
I mean I've seen Corner Cut Signs, although when I've seen them, Jonathan Davis's vocals live have gone from, for me, good to basically. Hopefully he's improved a bit over the last few years, but I think
I'm just a big old fan of Jonathan Davis. Like I keep making Joe get a bit annoyed because I'm like, Jonathan Davis, and he's just like,
my only competition.
Yeah. Even though he's married with kids, you know.
Yeah, that is true. Although you wouldn't believe he's almost 50, would you now? Jesus.
I really wouldn't. And then, obviously, my most recent one was with Joe when we went to see Dustbolt and Exodus at Chinnery's, which was, again, very, very good.
And very sweaty, I'm imagining.
Yeah, very sweaty.
We even both got a shirt for Exodus and Dustbolt, because we were like, yeah, fuck it, we're always going to get some merch.
It was like my first time hearing Dustbolt, as soon as they came, I was like, I'm getting a t-shirt.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, literally, we just got our Exodus shirts, and then because Dustbolt was on first, we sort of got into it, we were like, Fuck it.
See, this is how you know a true metalhead, because if they go to a gig, whether the supporting band's like an unsigned band or that, if they like that shit and you do a good show live, then they're walking out there with merch. They will always buy merch, whether they have to sacrifice like a week's worth of food money for it, because I've done it before. Anyway.
Yeah, no, we're hoping for all of our future gigs this year, we're going to hope to come back with a piece of merch each, because, yeah, we're just that dedicated.
Well, that, and the other thing is that you might not know, and some of the listeners might not know, bands don't make that much money from the record sales anymore. The merch is where they make their money, so if you're buying merch, that supports the band more. So, there you go, guys.
That's why I always make a point to buy a piece of merch every time I go.
Yeah,
and because we're seeing Korn next month, I'm determined to get a Korn shirt, because I've not got one yet, and it's bugging me. It's bugged me for years.
I've got about 4, but anyway. Now, Natalie, when you say a Korn shirt, do you actually mean a bit of merch, or do you mean you're going to climb on stage and try and rip the shirt off Jonathan Davis?
Don't tell me.
Probably both.
Do not tempt me. When I went to see them at the O2, I was like right at the back, right opposite the stage, like right at the very, very back, and I was like, I want to be closer, I want to touch Jonathan Davis.
She'll probably try to take one of his eyebrow bars as well.
Yeah,
yeah.
And on the line of I want to touch Jonathan Davis, Mike. Do you want to?
Well, you know, I never wanted to touch Jonathan Davis. You know, I like Korn. You know, especially the first 3 albums.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I remember when that album came out, man. It was just, it was like, wow. You know, a breath of fresh air. I hadn't heard anybody down to that low, really. You know, and it was different. That's what was kind of cool about Korn, is that it was different from what everybody else was doing, you know.
Yeah.
And I know they get a lot of hatred sometimes from some metalheads, but I'm like, well, you know.
Well, the new metal thing gets a lot of hatred from metalheads, but it's starting to make a resurgence with bands like Cane Hill and that. And to be honest with you, that's what got me into metal back in the day, along with Guns N' Roses and that way back in the day. But
and I get that. That's what I'm saying. The only thing that I never really cared for the term new metal, only because I'm like, even though I know it was spelled differently, I'm like,
yeah,
but it's not going to be new forever.
Yeah,
it's just, I just felt it was kind of a stupid. I always preferred alternative metal, because to me, bands like them and the Deftones, who I absolutely love to this day. Not that I don't like Korn. Like I said, I like Korn. The first 3 records I thought were wow.
Yeah.
After that, I'm not going to lie, I was kind of tuned out. I'd like to get back into their discography, and after listening to you guys talk, I might actually check out some of their more recent releases.
That new album, man, probably the best way to get back into them. The new album, it's going back to it's gone back to a slightly older style for them, so it's definitely worth checking that out. But yeah, the new metal tag, it was a stupid tag, but we got lumped with it. So.
Right. Like I said, I've noticed, though, almost every one of those bands, if you check them out and you go to Wikipedia or any site that talks about it, it'll always say new metal, but right after that it says alternative metal.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, exactly, to me that's what they were, because they were different, you know, they were different. I mean, and I'm like new metal about the way I am about every subgenre. Some of it I dig, some of it I didn't, you know, but yeah, I know there were some people that just absolutely fucking just hated that. And I'm like, some of it was cool. Some of it wasn't. You know, it's just like anything else. That's just my 2 cents. And as far as my favorite gigs, oh man, gosh, I've been to so many. Let me think about this for a minute. Well, one of my all-time, well, probably not just one of my all-time favorite gigs, but probably one of the most metal moments I've ever had. I mean, for one, the times I've seen Pantera were always an amazing show. I saw them, like, I think 5 times.
We all hate you now. We all hate you. You know this, don't you?
Hey, what can I say, man? I'm an older metalhead. I was there when it all went down. I mean, it's what kind of cracks me up. Like, now it's kind of, like, the cool thing I've seen, where you got some people, and it's almost always some younger fucker who, Pantera weren't that great, or Pantera was mainstream, or blah, blah, blah. It's like they want to tear down Pantera. And I try very hard not to talk down to the younger metalheads, because I try not to be I don't like elitism. I don't like metal elitists. Like when some young guy's into Avenged Sevenfold or Five Finger Death Punch, they might not be my thing, but you know what? I mean, I'm a big believer that a high tide raises all ships, and most people, like I know a buddy of mine, the band who broke his metal cherry was Korn, and now he listens to all this brutal death metal and shit. My point that I'm trying to make is, there's always going to be your gateway band.
Yeah.
And if somebody's younger and those bands are their gateway band, I'm not going to waste my time telling the kid he's a fucking poser for liking that band. That's just fucking stupid. And not only that, you're excluding him, and then he might be like, well, you know what? Fuck metal, and fuck metalheads, and fuck the metal scene.
Exactly.
And he doesn't even get metal, that's just stupid, narrow-minded. To me, it's like, hey, man, the more the merrier. The more people we have, to me, it's all about keeping it alive,
Yeah, I mean, the whole metal elitism thing, I think you might have been with me and Benedict on the podcast when we spoke about it before.
Yeah.
But it's just stupid. Elitism in any genre is stupid, because it's kind of like giving people a barrier to entry to a music that they should love, probably. They might not, but you've got to give them a chance. Just turn around going, oh, wait, listen to that, they're crap. I mean, even if someone come up to me and said, oh, that new, the new Nickelback album, it's so heavy in that, I'd say, okay, fair enough, try it, maybe listen, give a couple of recommendations of other bands as well, and say how you get on with them as well. See if, and maybe they'll get out of Nickelback, but I wouldn't outright say to them, why are you listening to that, it's utter shit. It is. Yeah, or don't get me wrong.
Poser or whatever. Don't get me wrong. I do believe there are posers out there. I mean, I've run into them where they'll say something like they'll get the name of the album wrong, or you can just tell that they're pretending to be a fan of the band, but they're really not.
Hey, just because I've said I hate Metallica and got their album names wrong a couple of times doesn't mean anything.
But you don't like them, and you've made that known. Like, Jesus Christ, Psychosin, you practically have neon signs. I hate fucking Metallica. Like, everybody who knows you knows that. That's different. I'm talking about somebody who's like, yeah, I really love Far Beyond Driven by Fairfax. Yeah, okay, dude, whatever you say, And I mean, I'm joking, obviously. It's not that bad. But what I'm trying to say is you'll have people that are like that, too. And I don't, I'm like, okay, yeah, poser. But a lot of times I just dismiss them. I don't even say anything.
Yeah.
But when it comes to elitists, it just, like I said before, what makes me mad about it is that kid who might be into Avenged Sevenfold now, he might end up a few years from now listening to Arch Enemy or fucking Obituary.
Yeah.
Or whatever. It's like, you got... Just give them a chance, Eventually, they're, and if Avenged Sevenfold is their gateway to that, it's still a good thing, isn't it? Like, Avenged Sevenfold ain't my thing. I don't really dig them at all. But if somebody else wants to rock out to them, I'm like, okay, so you got a bunch of kids with their fucking fists or devil horns in the air. Goddamn, that's a good thing as far as I'm concerned.
I mean, the way I think of it...
Those are all potential metalheads that eventually they're going to try other bands out.
Exactly.
It's a natural evolution. Anytime I try to bring somebody into metal, if they say, well, what do you recommend? I always give them the classics first.
Yeah.
I always give them. I don't just fucking start playing goddamn Vader. Okay, I don't do that. I don't do that.
It could be interesting. Could be interesting.
Oh, yeah. But, you gotta kind of work your way up to it, I guess.
Indeed. I mean, I look at it the way I went through music, because I started listening to The Ills and Radiohead and Fun Loving Criminals, for Christ's sake. And then I got into the new metal thing. Then I went through the whole new metal stage. Then I got into thrash. And then nowadays I listen to anything from Radiohead, because I still listen to them, all the way through to the most brutal thing ever, annotations of an autopsy or devourment, and I'll love it. So it's like
see, this is like me. I started off with what was it? It was like Billy Idol or Kiss.
Yeah.
And then I was listening to blooming Black Veil Brides. Don't judge me. And then
We are judging you, just so you know.
And then I moved on to like Disturbed, Avenged Sevenfold, and then I got into like Ailstorm and Sabaton, and you just work. Yeah, you work. You do work your way up, don't you?
For me, it was I started off in Dragon Force because of Guitar Hero, and then
As many people probably did, to be honest with you, Guitar Hero done a lot of good work. As much as people badger it, it done a lot of good work.
You know what, Ronnie? All joking around aside, I've met a lot of younger metalheads that's how they got in.
Exactly. Exactly.
Metallica, and they're like, yeah, and hey, that's a good thing. Who gives a fuck how you came to the party, as long as you fucking got here?
Exactly.
Yeah, so I started off in Dragon Force, and I heard Slipknot, which obviously like new metal.
Yeah.
But then they were with their album Isle, which was slightly darker. I thought, I like the sound of this. So I ended up looking for more like death metal, brutal death metal, slam metal, black metal.
And then
man, I think Iowa was probably the best album Slipknot ever did, in my opinion. That album is heavy as fuck.
I'd argue with that. I'd still say the debut album's their best one myself. I prefer Slipknot.
Yeah, you know? You're wrong. I got a really funny Slipknot story to tell. Yeah, you know, I just can't stand that shit. Like I said, it's just like, you know, well, way to go, dickhead. Now he might be like, fuck metal. And just, I just don't, and again, like, you can sit there and state your opinion without being a cock knocker about it. You know,
you can, but unfortunately,
hey, man, that's not really my finger. You can even be blunt and go, well, man, I think it sucks, but hey, if you like it, rock out with your bad self. You know,
rock out with your cock out.
but that's one thing that does bother me sometimes is when you tell somebody you don't like something, and then they get all butthurt about it, like you're attacking them person.
Oh, well,
you person, man.
As you can imagine, I've been through that a lot, saying about the Metallica hatred.
Oh, sure. But, you know, it's not like you hate all thrash metal, you just think Metallica's overrated.
Yeah.
You know? And you know what? There could be an argument made for that. I mean, Metallica ends up getting the credit, and, you know, don't get me wrong, they deserve credit, but so all of the big four deserve credit. More importantly, so do the other bands. Exodus, major player in the development of thrash metal.
They were big for Metallica at the time.
Yeah. I mean, you know, Metallica moved to San Francisco. Okay, Metallica left L.A. because they weren't fucking understood in L.A. L.A. didn't get them at all. They went to San Francisco for two reasons. One, because of the reception they got. Two, they wanted Cliff Burton to play for them. You know, I will give it. Like, if you want me to play for you, you got to move up here, motherfucker.
That is the best thing Metallica gave to the world for me. Is I will not deny Cliff Burton is one of the greatest thrash metal bassists that ever lived. I will admit that. So you know, I may not.
You know, whether you like Metallica or not, I think no one can deny when he died, they were never the fucking same.
Well, no, that was when they started their kind of descent, shall we say, into middling albums for the thrash metal fans, as it were.
But as far as like gigs that I've been to, one of my favorites. Well, like I said, I saw Pantera several times, and I mean, I saw Pantera in a small club. Vulgar Display had not even come out yet; it was just getting ready to drop. That's how far back this goes. And
so, road trip to America to beat Mike up, guys.
Good idea. Yeah, it was fucking amazing, man. I mean, I remember watching them, and I was like, and you know, Pantera was an important band for me because I was disillusioned with what Metallica had done with the Black Album, and to me, Pantera grabbed that torch and ran with it. You know, it was like they were the band that, you know, not to say that like Slayer was still putting out quality music. Megadeth at that point was still putting out quality music. So but man, when Pantera came out, I was just like, well, this is different. It's thrashy, but it's different. It was just you know.
It was that weird.
They just blew me the fuck away, man. And when
strange?
I saw them live, I was like, holy fuck, they were the real deal.
Yeah, it kind of led in that strange sort of changing of the guard as it was, where it went from Metallica and the Big Four, to suddenly it got swapped over at being Machine Head, Pantera, etc. Sepultura suddenly took it on.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. I mean, it's kind of funny because you'll hear some metal fans that'll just talk about how the 90s was just a horrible time for metal and grunge and alternative. While all that is true to a certain extent, I'm still like, man, some of the best shows I ever went to were in the fucking 90s. I mean, Jesus Christ.
The 90s in general was just like a bad time.
Well, yeah.
You know, like, I saw Machine Head open for Slayer when Burn My Eyes just came out.
Oh.
I saw Sepultura, Fear Factory, and Clutch all in the same bill. And that was before Demanufacture hadn't even come out yet.
That's an interesting bill. That's an interesting bill.
Oh, it was amazing. It was Sepultura's Chaos AD tour.
Oh.
Great fucking show, man. It was the only time I'd ever seen Clutch perform Binge and Purge. I've never seen them perform that song since.
It's a shame. It's a shame because I love that song.
Which is a great fucking song. Yeah, God, that song rules. But, yeah, dude, I mean, I saw some really, you know, like I said, that Pantera concert, I was lucky enough to meet them that night because my friend Holly was a groupie, and she wouldn't leave until they came out. They came out and took pictures with us, and I had a shot with Dime, and really cool dude, man. And then a few years later, Far Beyond Driven had just dropped, right around that time, and we went to see him at the American Theater, which was a great venue, man. And I saw Crowbar open. That's the first time I ever saw Crowbar. It was Crowbar and Pantera. In fact, Kirk talks about it in an interview, I think, with Loudwire, one of those videos where he talks about how Dimebag and then had pulled a prank on him, which they did. They're on stage playing, and this fake snow starts coming down on them. And, you know, they're sweating and shit, so it's sticking to them. It's sticking to their instruments and shit, you know. Because that's just the kind of guy Dimebag was. He was always fucking with people. But that was an amazing show, and afterwards, I met Phil. But here's the cool part about it. This was my most metal moment. Are you ready for this? And I bullshit.
I don't know. Are we ready for this, guys? Are we ready for this?
They were in the middle of Scene and Walk. Phil fucking throws the microphone out. I'm in the front row. I'm in the pit. We're right in the very front. It's me, my older brother, and my best friend Brian Honker, who I just told you, Big B. My older brother, we call him Scapegoat. He's the guy that makes all those killer bumpers for my shows. Anyway, we're up front, man, and Phil throws out the microphone, and at first nobody catches it. And he just shakes his head, he takes it, flings it out to us again. Dave and Brian grab the mic, and they pull it towards us. And we literally sung Walk. That whole, you know, what do you say? That whole, are you talking to me? We did that whole thing with Pantera playing, dude. It was fucking amazing. Amazing. And then Phil takes the microphone back and gets them back in the song. But, like, we actually sang Walk with Pantera, man.
Jesus.
And then later, after we're leaving, Phil's outside talking to fans, which blew us away. Because there was a whole group of people who were like, what's going on? And there's Phil, and Phil sees us and he goes, dudes from the front row. And we're like, yeah! So we took pictures then and got his autograph. And just an amazing night. I'll never forget it.
No idea what genocide.
It's my most metal moment ever. You know, like, ever.
See, the thing is, Joe, when this was happening, you were probably about 4?
Probably, yeah.
Well, it would have been, I think, maybe late 94, early 95. Yeah, it was a long time ago, man.
Yeah.
I'd have to fucking break out my old ticket stubs and see. It's been a long time, though. And what's weird is some days it feels like it was just yesterday, man. But like I was saying, in the 90s, man, I saw White Zombie. I saw some really great shows. I mean, I saw System of a Down open up for Slayer in a small club called Mississippi Nights. Nobody knew the fuck System of a Down was.
I was gonna say, I can't imagine they went down well, to be honest with you.
Actually, it did.
Really?
Believe it or not, it did. They fucking... Well, this was before their first album come out, and, you know, I've always felt like the System were especially the early stuff, was pretty goddamn thrashy, dude.
Mm.
You know, and the believe it or not, man, they went over big, and opening for Slayer ain't an easy feat.
I was gonna say, yeah, Jesus.
But believe it or not, they went over big, man. They came out, and they fucking kicked ass, and they said, we're honored to be on stage with one of our biggest influences, and everybody went nuts because, you know, again, with System, it was they were really thrashy, but nobody had heard, like, vocals like that, you know, where it was just so avant-garde and weird, but I dug them immediately. I was like, oh, I like these guys.
Yeah.
And I thought at the time that their name was Symptom of Down, like Symptom of Universe.
Yeah.
And I remember going to the record store, you got Symptom of Down? And they're like, no. And the record hadn't even come out yet. A few weeks later, it had come out. And I remember them also saying that they were going to be at the Ozfest later that year. And so I'm already stoked because I had my Ozfest tickets. And on that same tour, I saw Slipknot. Now, Slipknot, I remember a buddy of mine got like it was like a tape, man, and it only had like 2 or 3 songs on it. And it had a picture of them in their mask. But honestly, I just thought that was promotional shit. I didn't think they actually came out on stage looking like that. And I'll never forget it. As I walk in and I get my ticket, they're starting the second stage. And they introduce Slipknot. And they fucking come out behind the PAs, and they got their fucking orange jumpsuits and the crazy mask. And the dude with the carrot nose, he's jerking his carrot nose off and flipping me off. And I'm going, what in the fuck? It made me feel like a little kid again. And what I mean by that is my gateway band was Kiss.
Yeah.
And, like, this is going to date me, but I was just a little boy at the time. It was around, probably early 76. I was 5 years old. And my older brother brought home a copy of Kiss Alive. And I just remember at first being kind of intimidated by it.
Yeah.
You know, again, remember, I'm 5 years old, you know. But my older brother was smart. He knew I loved comic book heroes even then. I was a huge Spider-Man nut, big Batman freak, loved those guys. And my brother was like, these guys are like superheroes, but they play rock music. So he popped on Kiss Alive, you know, the introduction. You wanted the best, you got the best, the hottest band in the land. That's when they were just still the hottest band in the land. Kiss, and they fucking, you know, they rip into Deuce and the explosions, and I was hooked. I've been a hard rock and heavy metal enthusiast ever since. So without Kiss, man, who knows what the fuck would have happened.
Indeed. I mean, I'm trying to work out. I think the band that got me into metal, probably a mixture of Black Sabbath and first Guns N' Roses album back in the day.
Really?
Yeah.
Now, see, I got introduced to Guns N' Roses, or not Guns N' Roses. I mean Black Sabbath a little while later. Like, you know, I'll tell you my Guns N' Roses story too. But I got introduced to Black Sabbath because a neighbor of ours across the street, he was like 10 years older than me. So maybe like, my brother was 3 years older than me. So yeah, he's a few years older than my older brother. So he's kind of like our big brother too, you know. And he liked Kiss, but we were just obsessed with Kiss. It was Kiss, 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 you know. And I'll remember because my brother, he got Alive, and then he bought Destroyer and Rock and Roll Over. So I remember Kissteria very vividly. I mean, I was just a little kid, but I remember it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And what a great time to be a fan. But we were just obsessed with Kiss, and we were just driving Kevin fucking crazy. So he's like, guys, there are other fucking bands besides Kiss. So he introduced us to Sabbath and Zeppelin and Alice Cooper and Rush and AC/DC and all these, you know, Judas Priest and all these amazing, you know, 70s metal bands, hard rock metal bands. And, you know, I know it's a point of contention because some people go, oh, well, Kiss aren't metal. I beg to differ. I think they're early American metal. That's just...
The first few albums, yeah.
But you gotta look at the times, yeah. You gotta look at the times. I mean, another thing, and there was a difference between American metal and UK or European metal. UK metal was very much mostly about doom and gloom, and, you know...
Because we're such a happy bunch.
A lot of mysticism, too, like with Led Zeppelin, you know, there was a lot of mysticism and stuff like that. With American metal, it's about fucking fast cars and hot chicks and drugs. I mean, Kiss, to me, if Sabbath epitomized gloom and doom, Kiss epitomized sex, drugs, and rock and roll. And Van Halen, too, by a certain extent. I mean, they were the same way. They didn't sing about very rarely did they ever sing about anything doomy and gloomy. It's about, again, fast cars and hot chicks and getting laid and getting fucked up and, you know, and that, and when you listen to Kiss, man, I mean, especially like you said, the early shit, Parasite, Strange Ways, Watching You, a lot of, I mean, especially the alive versions of those songs. I mean, fuck, man, Deuce, 1975, in my opinion, yeah, I consider them early American metal. Early American. I'm stressing early. You know, is it metal by today's standards? Well, no. But you got to remember the context of the times. You know, it's like Sam Dunn said it himself when he did that Metal Evolution. He did a whole episode on early U.S. metal. He said, you can't talk about early U.S. metal without talking about Kiss. And I agree. I mean, you know, like I said, yeah, eventually they strayed away from that. Sure they did. But I would argue, I mean, shit, man. Dr. Love, a lot of those songs were heavy for the time. I mean, again, you got to look at what was going on, you know, especially here in the States.
Which, I mean, I can't really speak for, because obviously I'm in the UK.
Right, but, you know, if you look at what was going on, I mean, Kiss were one of the loudest fucking bands around that era. They took pride in being that band, you know. And, I mean, like I said, the wheels eventually came off. We all know what happened to Kiss.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, and we also know about what happened with Gene over the last few months and the ownership of the horns. But anyway,
you know what? Though I think he just did that for publicity.
I think you're right on that. I think you're right on that.
Let's be honest. Like, realistically, do you really think he was going to be able to do that?
Not in a million years. The Dio state.
Right, goddamn hand gesture.
Exactly.
For real.
Although,
I said, that motherfucker's sitting back and laughing at all the...
I tried to